What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back with another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Thank you. You're far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I am so glad you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel us when we speak. You guys know what you got to do, man. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, Fanatics Views, YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth and Long, Facebook, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Follow us man. Put me in those group chats. And if you just so happen to be in the area, we shoot our episodes right here from the office. I'm sitting in the Playmaker's office. I have the advantage and privilege of being able to make phone calls and talk to folks and talk to the man himself. And I say, Mike, listen, I need a space. I need a space. And he goes, okay. And so I'm sitting here in the restaurant, Playmakers 88 Sports Bar and Grill. Come by here off of 121 in the Colony. You cannot miss it. It sits right in front of Top Golf. So if you know where Top Golf is at, right in front of Top Golf, you will see the blue and gray sign, the big 8s on the outside. Playmakers Bar and Grill. Everything is in it. You never know. I might be in here one day. Mike might be in here one day. You might see us in here. You never know what's it going to be on any given day. But come on down here, get some good grub, get some good food, and get entertained. But again, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Spotify and Apple for just the podcast form, YouTube for the visual and the audio. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to give my I forgot to remind you, episode number 96. Episode number 96. We're creeping up to 100. Episode 96 here. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to give my motivation at the beginning because let's be honest, a lot of you wouldn't be here or won't be here at the end. I'm just not for everybody, and that's okay. My feelings ain't hurt. My feelings ain't hurt at all. But before you go, find the episodes. 96 of them will be out there by the time you see this one. Pick one. Give me 15 minutes of watch time. If you don't like it, then find another episode. Keep finding episodes until you fall in love with me, and then share it with everybody else. Because I think what we do here is good. I think what we do here is raw. It's authentic. It's uncut. I'm authentically me in every way, shape, or form, and I think that's translatable. But yeah, you got to try it out to find out. All right, man. Let's get into this thing. Here is the motivation for this day. And I thought about this the other morning on my praise and worship walk. I take these walks in the morning, like around 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning. I get the dog and we go on these just walks where it's just me and God. I listen to some praise and worship music. I might listen to a sermon, but I just have these moments of clarity. And in conjunction, I said to myself that we're going to read more books in 2025. And I'm already through my first book. I got one more chapter. My first book of 2025. It's called The Four Agreements. And so it's just about these agreements that you make with yourself and how some of them have been good in your life, some of them haven't been good for your life. And then just give these 4 agreements that you can probably use in your life to transform. I think it's a really good book. If you haven't read it, read it. If you already read it, you know what I'm talking about. But one of the things that I gathered from all of this information that I've been getting is let what you believe about you be greater than what they say about you. Let what you believe about you be greater than what they say about you. We live in a very, 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 very digital social media time. And what does that do? It has opened up what's amendment is it? The freedom of speech. What's amendment is that? The First Amendment. The First Amendment. The freedom of speech. So everybody thinks that they can have a say about you. And I sit here as someone who is an analyst and I critique all these different things, and because I have to. This is what they pay me to do. But you're not going to tell me or dictate to me who I am. I'm with me every day. I'm honest with me. I just got finished telling a great story about how I know that I'm washed. I'll tell you guys about the story that I'm washed. But Let what you believe about you be greater than what they say about you, because they're going to say some things, and some of it may not be true. A lot of it probably isn't true. And people at times will say things about you, not because it's actually you, it's because they actually hate those things about themselves. Or it's because they wish that they can do the things that you're actually doing. They want to have that confidence or that courage or that willingness to go and do and chase and be the thing that they've been called to be. But for whatever reason, they have run into these roadblocks of fear. They've run into these roadblocks of just unwillingness to do it. So they'll talk about you. But that's okay. What is talking doing? That shouldn't deter you from being who you're supposed to be and believing who you're supposed to believe. Make the agreement with yourself that all the positive things about you are true. And those that aren't the positive things about you, you improve on. But don't give them the power don't give them the power to be able to have that level of, don't give them the authority to have that level of power over you by what they say becoming who you really are. So again, let what you believe about you be greater than what they say about you. All right, man, let's get into this show. And let me just tell you this. Shout out to Dwayne Lewis. Dwayne Lewis over at UTA, the Mavericks. What is that? University of Texas, Arlington. Shout out to Dwayne Lewis. I was invited out. Now, if you guys know me, and some of you do, some of you don't, but I'm not a person that's outside. That's not me. Anxiety, I don't like really people like that. My social battery, I talk sports all day. I don't want to go out in public, and people are like, let's talk about this. I'm good. I just go home. I'm safe at home. But I got invited out to UTA's basketball game. They were taking on Charlton State. But shout out to UTA, the Mavericks. And I went, and they were like, man, come to the suite. And I came to the suite, and I ate. And they were like, man, you're going to be like, one of the guests that we had. And I don't okay, cool. I'm like, I don't need the whole courtside attention to be, have the jumbotron. I'm over that. Like that's 20-year-old Jess. 41-year-old Jess is like, hey, can I eat for free? Here's what I care about. This is what I care about. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is what I care about. Do I get premium parking? And do I eat for free? Wherever you're going to sit me, you're going to sit me. But I'm not parking way back there. I like to have premium parking and food for free. And I'm a happy camper because I'm not walking that far and I don't want to spend my own money on food. If that's the case, I'll stay home. I got premium parking and the food I already paid for. Like, but I'm invited out to this game, and it's a great atmosphere. Again, shout out to UTA. And I'm one of 4 guests. Myself, Michelle Carter, who won a gold medal at the Olympics, I think a couple years, like 2 Olympics ago, maybe. And shot put, another young lady, forgive me, young white lady, I forget your name, but she won a silver medal in skeet shooting. She went to UTA. And then the presumably top 5, 6 pick, maybe the first quarterback taken, maybe not, son of the great Deion Sanders, Shador Sanders is a guest. And so I start in the suite. I'm eating for free. They bring me down to courtside. I'm sitting baseline courtside seats. It's great. It's cool. Again, I got premium parking and I eat for free. Happy camper. You could have set me in the middle of anywhere and I would have been good. You could have left me in a suite. Would have been good. But you bring me down to courtside, UTA. And I get down to courtside, and at halftime, they have us all stand up, step onto the court, and they go down and they announce each one of us. Jesse Holley, former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver. And I do the whole kind of thing like, thank you, brother. Thank you. I give him these, thank you. I give him boom, thank you. I appreciate it. Crowd's going crazy. People like, hey, Jesse, love the show. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. They say Shador, they say Michelle, they say the other little lady. I don't know your name. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter. You can find her name if you want. I apologize. So I said to myself, man, it was a cool moment, you know? You know, they didn't forget about the old man. The old man still kicking. Boy, was I wrong. As I'm sitting there, I realized that I didn't actually get a picture of this moment, right? Austin Smith. That's her name? Austin Smith. Sorry, young white lady. Austin Smith is her name. So it's myself, Michelle Carter, Austin Smith, and the great Shador Sanders. And so I say to myself, oh, wow, I didn't get a picture of this moment. Because I'm not a guy that's like, I'm not doing the selfies. I'm not doing all that. I'm good. But someone probably had a picture, figured to myself, hey, you know what? Let me get that picture. It's a good picture to have. I had a moment. So I said, well, we're at a basketball game. We live in the social media world. Surely they're going to post this on their social media, their basketball social media, their UTA basketball social media. Surely they are. So I'll just go there, get the picture, promote it on my page, like, hey, shout out to UTA for a great time, which it absolutely was. So I get my phone and I scroll to the UTA page. And I'm doing this as I'm leaving. I'm heading home. Premium parking, I told you. I walk right out the door. A little loading dock, I'm parked right out there. And I'm heading home and I'm like, let me find this deal. And I'm looking through it. And here it is. And the caption reads, some special guests in the house or something like that. And there's 3 pictures. And I click on the one that should have me in it. Nope. There's Austin. There's Michelle. There's Shador. And I was standing right next to Shador. Do you know they cropped your boy out? They cropped me out the picture. And if you go to their website, you'll see. If you go to the UTA men's basketball Twitter account, you'll see they actually had to cut out a part of Shador's arm because that's how close we were standing next to each other. Is that I was standing so close to Shador because the way they wanted to have the picture that they had to crop me out. And I just sat there and I laughed at myself and I said, you're so washed, bro. You're so washed. Even after those good people announced that you were a former Dallas Cowboy. And that even though that you may not be Shador or have won a medal at the Olympics, your being there and you would have probably posted it back on your Twitter page, could have brought some light to their program. They still said, hell nah. Nah. We invited them. We gave them premium parking. We fed them for free. But we're not putting them in the picture. I just realized, and I laughed, and I laughed. I had a 35-minute ride home. I laughed the entire way home, and I thought to myself, you thought you would like that. And I had put on like age-appropriate clothes, like I'm gonna look like I fit in with the college crowd, and I was smelling good. I was way up past my bedtime, and all that to get cropped out. Yep, but UTA. Your effing days are numbered, brother. UTA men's basketball, your effing days are numbered. When I find out who runs that social media, when I find out who cropped me out on that UTA men's basketball social media page, I'm telling you, you're gonna have a knuckle sandwich from old Uncle Jay Holley. Knuckle sandwich coming your way, the little teenager. I know you're some little 19-year-old who's running social media pages and you crop me out. A knuckle sandwich from Uncle Holley right here. It's coming your way for crop me out. All right, man, let's talk about this Cowboy stuff. Let me just say this. I like Osa Odigizua. Think he's a really good player. Think he's a great person. And this is no shot at Osa. This is not me carrying the water, because I know some of you nerds out there in the content creation space, some of you L7 weenies, some of you gooch juice hot dog smelling punks are like, oh, well, the media, they go and they do this work for the Cowboys and they try to slander that. No, shut up. Shut up. Before I give one of y'all for real a knuckle sandwich. But I'm out. I know that the Cowboys are looking to sign Osa. And again, I think Osa's a good player. I think the Cowboys did what the Cowboys do, and they find themselves in a situation where they're going to have to pay premium price for a not premium player. And again, this is nothing against Osa. I like Osa, and I do want Osa to get the entire bag. But if we're talking about properly constructing a football team, the first thing, and the first area that the Cowboys begin to mess up in was, if you believed that Osa Odigizua was a guy that you felt was going to be a part of your future and was worthy enough to be part of your future, should have signed him a year ago. Should have gave him, this is what, I cannot reiterate this enough. This is what good football teams do. Like, I'm going to give you an example. You know who we should hear get a contract extension this year, this offseason? You want to know? Yes, Micah, for sure. But you really want to know who should get one? Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith. See, and what the Cowboys will do is that they'll let Tyler Smith rack up 2 more Pro Bowl seasons, and they'll let him get to the end of his deal, and then he's going to say, well, I got 3 Pro Bowls in a row. I'm the best offensive lineman that you have. Now I want top of the market guard money. When if you know that he's going to be a person that's going to be in your future, and he's going to be a staple on your offensive line, get him done now. Get him done now. So that now you can work that money down the line. You can lower cap hits. You can do so many different things, but you wait till the last minute. And this is what you've done with Osa. Osa's a guy that you should have probably signed a year ago or more. And went on and just said, hey, instead of you now asking for the between $21 and $24 million, we could have got Osa at $15, $16 million. Between $14 and $16 million. But this is what the Cowboys do. But I look at it and I go, there's other ways that you can now take that money that you would pay Osa and go get multiple players. The other day, the Washington Commanders decided that one of their best defensive linemen, Jonathan Allen, that he can go and seek a trade. Jonathan Allen's been to a couple Pro Bowls. I like Jonathan Allen. Go get a Jonathan Allen. Go get a guy like Punda Ford. Go get 3 other guys. Go get 3 other guys on shorter deals where you're not paying all this money to Osa, when I can go get 3 guys that will probably play better than Osa. Osa's a good player, not an elite player. He's not elite. And again, I'm not trying to slander his name. I'm saying that you're about to pay. He's about to, if you pay him what he's asking for, he's going to be the 10th highest paid defensive lineman in the league. Think about that for a second. I don't know if Osa belongs in that conversation. Now, he's striking right now while the market is the way the market is. And so there aren't many other comps in his field. Milton Williams from the Philadelphia Eagles, who's a Crowley kid, is kind of the next one on the level. And I think you may have a better player in Milton than you do in Osa. And I do want Osa to get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. But I'm just thinking from a business perspective that you can do more with that money than play a player whose skill set is not on par with the money that you're getting ready to pay him. And then now you'll be stuck paying him, like I said, 10th highest in all of the league. So if I had to make a decision today, now if they somehow, some way trick Osa into taking less than what he's actually commanding right now, that's on them. And we'll see when those numbers come out. But the Cowboys got to stop. They got to stop backing themselves into these type of holes. When you can go sign guys a little bit ahead of time, and you can go sign guys to more favorable deals, because most guys are trying to get to that second contract. And when you're not a high first round or high second round pick, when you go later on in the draft, all this now is newfound money. All this now is second contract that you're talking about, and you're a guy who's in that conversation. This is newfound money for you, and you take that money, and now you're happy. Your agent's happy. You're happy. Everybody's rich. But you wait, and now guys like Osa Odighizuwa is getting ready to get paid tremendously. But that's the Cowboys' MO. The Cowboys' MO is draft, develop, pay them. They don't like going outside of they don't like going outside the house. They like to draft their guys, pay their guys, draft their guys, develop their guys, pay those guys. And again, bringing Osa back doesn't make you better. It makes you the same. Right? Like if you do nothing else, bringing Osa back doesn't make you better. It makes you the same. Now, it's Osa plus. But does signing back Osa limit to you being able to pay some of the other guys, some of the top of the market guys, free agents, they're just due to make you actually make your team better? And I asked that question because you have your general manager and son of, well, not general manager, COO and son of Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. He comes out and he says, we're going to be selectively aggressive in free agency. Selectively aggressive in free agency. Selectively aggressive in free agency. I have no clue what that means. I have zero clue on what that actually means. Is this the 2025 version of All In? Like, I don't know what that means. And is when you say selectively aggressive, does that mean, because free agency, technically, Osa is a free agent. Technically, the Cowboys have like 25, 6, 7, 8, 28, I think, free agents on their roster they had last year. 28 of those players are free agents. So are you selectively picking from that group? Is this the new slang term for All In? But I don't know what selectively aggressive is. I need you to be dominantly aggressive. I need you to be actively aggressive. I need you to be win at all cost aggressive. I need you to be truly all in aggressive, especially in the trenches. Right now, I am not getting off this wave because I do believe that the Cowboys have to secure the trenches, both offensively and defensively. That needs to be paramount. That needs to be paramount. So when Steven says selectively aggressive, I do not know what that means, but I do know defensively, when you look at what Matt Eberflus is as a defensive coordinator, he's not a guy, he's not Spags. He's not Vic Fangio. He's not these guys that are going to give you these exotic looks and going to create simulated pressures and going to say, hey, look over here, but the blitz is coming from over here. Not that kind of guy. Not that kind of coach. Not that kind of defensive coordinator. He's more of straight up and down, we're coming at you, eyes on the ball. And so I start thinking about now and the selective aggressiveness. In order to have a lot of guys be successful in that offense, you need to have guys that can win the one-on-one battles with no help. And right now, the only guy that I feel like can truly close my eyes, go to bed at night, and say that there's the guys that can significantly, consistently, and dominantly win one-on-one battles with no help, no stunts, no simulated pressures, no exotic looks, any of that. One guy. You know his name, you know his number. Number 11, Micah Parsons. He don't need no help. You line him up against anybody short of Jesus Christ, and he's probably going to win most of those battles. But if you have a bunch of other less than guys and you're not setting up these type of exotic things, don't know how you get home. Don't know how you stop the run. Don't know how you create pressure. So that's why I'm like selective aggressiveness or selectively aggressive. I don't even know what that means. We'll spend all season trying to figure out what it means. And then maybe October or November, they'll finally tell us what it means. And they'll say it's, hey, we were selectively, we paid these guys. We paid Micah, we paid Osa. We were really aggressive in paying those guys top of the line money, and that's when they'll be selectively aggressive. Again, signing Micah, signing Osa doesn't make your team better. Those are guys who are already been a part of your team. You have to add to those guys to actively and selectively and aggressively become better. One way, flipping to the other side of the ball, stories have come out when you're talking about offensive linemen. You know that Connor Riley was signed by Brian Schottenheimer to be the offensive line coach. He comes from Kansas State, from the college ranks, who, by the way, he was Cooper Beebe's offensive line coach when he was an All-American at K-State. Then you have Clayton Adams, who came over from Arizona, who was the offensive line coach in Arizona, who's now sitting in the offensive coordinator, but not calling the plays offensive coordinator seat in Dallas under Brian Schottenheimer. So now you start asking yourself the question where the Cowboys, what are they going to do at offensive line? As we sit today, there is one thing that is set in stone, that I believe should be set in stone. There's one player that should be solidified who doesn't have to worry about the musical chairs or the O-line carousel. Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, your left guard, it should be, hey, Tyler Smith, you're going to play left guard, and you're going to play left guard for the next 10 years. The rest of y'all, you better get the hell in when you fit in. And now you have the conversation for a guy like Cooper Beebe is his natural position is actually guard. He played guard in college. When he came to the Cowboys, they moved him to center, and it was the having to understand how to snap the ball and punch at the same time. Like that combination is one that was a transitional piece for him, and he did okay. He had his moments in this season this year where he was really good, and he had some moments where he wasn't really good. And then you still have the experiment in Tyler Guyton at left tackle. You don't know what Hoffman is going to be. If we had to play a game today, I would think that Hoffman is your right guard. And then they try to have the conversation about, we like Terrence Steele. We think that we can do a lot of things with Terrence Steele. Now, I will say in the defense of Terrence Steele, and to give Terrence Steele some credit, Terrence Steele was actually really, really, really decent beyond decent. I'll give him credit. He was good when it came to pass blocking. Terrence Steele was one of the best pass blocking tackles in the National Football League. But when it came down to holding that pass rush up, though, it was bad. It was bad, real bad. So when you got booking real bad tackles, it makes life very difficult for you to do anything at the quarterback position, especially when your quarterback isn't one that scrambles a lot or runs a lot. We know that's just not Dak Prescott's game at this point in time in his career. So now is the time where, if you're going to make the musical chairs, if you're going to move guys around, now's the time to do it. But once you figure this out, and we had this conversation many times last year about what is the Cowboys' best five to go out there each and every Sunday. And so you got to figure out who fits around Tyler Smith because he's your left guard. And I do believe that if you're going to try guys out, because you do have a new coaching staff, you have a new line coach, which means his techniques and what you learned under Mike Solari are probably going to be different. Whether that be feet work, stance, hand placement, hand work, how you do certain things, it's going to be different. Every coach is going to bring their own specific thing to the forefront. And then Clayton Adams is going to have a certain things. And now, it may be more pin and pulls. It may be more zones. It may be more, it may be a host of different things from the blocking scheme side of things. So they're going to have to learn some of those things. And then how is Brian Schottenheimer going to actually call these games? Some people say he's going to be pound and ground. Like lean into the running game. Pause. Some people say it'll be game specific, that he'll come into these games and he'll sometimes be like, you know what, this team, we can pass the ball 35 times. We're going to pass the ball 35 times and run the ball 10 times. Other games, hey, we can run the ball 35 times. So we're going to run the ball 35 times and pass the ball 10 times. So there isn't really a true designation just yet on what Shotty's going to be as a play caller. We'll find out. But I think for the offensive line is, okay, cool. Let's try some things out. But when we leave and we are done with the OTAs / mini camps or whatever have you, when we are done with that, whether you draft some guys, you sign some guys, because you hear names like guys like Will Hernandez, who was under Clayton at Arizona and spent some time, was drafted and spent time with the New York Giants. So he's a veteran, got hurt last year, but is healthy now and will be ready for the offseason. He's a guy who's out there on the market. There's some other things that may happen. You see it every single day. More guys are coming available. Some teams are saying, all right, we're cutting this guy, whatever. Whatever it is that they decide to do, because Coach Riley can say, you know what, man, I had Cooper Beebe at college. He's a right guard. He needs to play right guard. Hoffman is a center. Hoffman, you play center. And we're rolling with that. But when you get through with OTAs, when you are done with minicamp, when those off-season activities are done and you head out to take that break before training camp, oh, buddy, you better have it figured out. Because what you cannot do, barring any significant or catastrophic or long-term injury, what you cannot do is you cannot get to training camp and don't have an answer. You don't have time for that. You don't have time to get in training camp and all of a sudden thinking about what is it going to be, who's going to be where, all this other crazy stuff. You don't have time. You need to go and be 100% on learning the defense, learning the offense, having guys ready to go, and give me the best five and let them rep this goddamn thing out. Doing the musical chairs at training camp is a waste of time because here's what you cannot afford. And if you've been around the Cowboys long enough, there are countless times where we didn't have our stuff together leaving training camp. Players were holding out, guys weren't here, things weren't being done. When that happens, you end up losing games at the beginning of the year that cost you later in the year. You end up looking back and you go, man, we would have had a higher seed had we not lost that game in week 2 because you're still trying to figure things out. Or, man, we lost that game in week 4 to, a conference opponent or division opponent, and now we're in January and we're counting on our fingers how many games we need to win to make the playoffs. or how we can better our seating so we don't have to go on the road, or how we don't have to face the best team, give ourselves a chance to actually go deeper into the playoffs. So when you leave training camp, boy, do you have to have the answers at least to your offensive line. Not training camp. When you leave OTAs, when you leave OTAs and mini camps and whatever those off-season activities are, those mandatory ones, you got to hit the ground running when you get to training camp. It has to be full steam ahead. We are set. We are ready to go. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. They had time to fine-tune it in their little bit of break, but you got to go. You got to go. Because I know that Brian Schottenheimer signed a 4-year deal, but if you come out this first year and you don't make the playoffs, that seat gonna get real hot real fast. So you don't have time for a bad time. You are here to make an immediate impact, especially when the fan base wasn't really. You didn't have a large majority of people like, yes, Brian Schottenheimer. You have more of the people like, oh, I don't know about this one. I don't know about Shorty. This might not be the one. So the last thing that you want to do is start off slow. And now you're 1-2, 2-2. That won't bode well for you. The boos will get real loud. Those whispers will get real loud on you as a player. But we'll see. The Cowboys have the draft coming up. We'll see where they go in the draft. I have the number 12 pick. And right now, I don't know where they're going to go in this draft. People say Genty or Tet, McMillan out of Arizona, the receiver. Or I, for one, am an Ibuka fan. I think you go ahead and you trade back. You go get a Mecca Ibuka. You pick up some later picks right there. And you give CeeDee Lamb the running mate that he needs. You give him a pro right now. I think a Mecca Ibuka is a pro, is a 10-year pro right now. Number 2 receiver, probably the best route runner early in this draft, can do it all. And you think about, I know he's never been a number 1 receiver at Ohio State, but when you look at a Mecca, look who a Mecca had to play behind. Like, there's Garrett Wilson, there's Marvin Harrison Jr., there's who else was this? Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's another one, isn't it? There was Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson. Okay, then it was Marvin Harrison Jr. And then this year, you had the young kid. Jeremiah Smith. You had all 4 of those guys are for sure number 1s. But all Jackson Smith did was goes and does and just gets you, 60 to 70 catches, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Go look it up. He'll do the same thing in the pros. He'll be 60 catches, 800 yards, between 8 and 9 touchdowns. A perfect complementary receiver to CeeDee Lamb. Perfect in my eyes. But we'll see what the Cowboys do in this draft. All right, man, let's go around the sports world. Lakers and Mavs took on each other the other day, and it was Luka versus the Mavs, Mavs versus Luka. Let me just say this. Are we done? I'm tired. I'm tired. And I'm not telling fans how to fan. I don't want to get this argument with y'all again. But are we done? Can we move on? Can we move on? I get it. Luka's our guy. I get it. But are you a Mavs fan or you're not? You know what I'm saying? Are you a Mavs fan or you aren't? And Luka could be your guy, but can we move on? I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Let's just move on. Luka's gone. You got to get over it. You mourned enough. You've been through the grieving process, the steps of grieving. Can we move on? Can we just move on? And I know they played one more time in April this year. Luka had a decent game, had a triple-double, didn't shoot the ball as well. He didn't go stupid crazy like people thought he would. But can we move on? I'm tired. I'm done. He's no longer a Mav. Yes, you can hate Nico all you want. Feel free. Hate Nico till you're blue in the face. Luka ain't coming back. He's gone. He's gone. So now embrace the guys that you have left. Embrace Anthony, embrace Kyrie, embrace Christie, embrace Najee, embrace all those other guys. Let's just move on. I just can't do another day of the Mavs And I don't want Mavs fans smoke because y'all aggressive. I don't want the smoke, but I just want y'all to move on. I want y'all to let it go. It's okay. You were angry for long enough. You're gonna make yourself sick. And if you don't want to go to Mavs games anymore, fine. Don't go. If you don't want to buy season tickets, fine. Don't go. Don't buy them. Don't participate in any of it. That's your God-given right. But just let it go. Let it go. Nico made the trade. It's over. It's done. It's done. You either go be a Luka fan and with the Lakers or you cheer on your Mavs. Those are your options. You can't do both. There's no both. You can't do both. You can't be a Luka fan? No, he's done. To be a Luka fan means you want success for the Lakers, who's in the same conference as you. To want Luka's success means you want the Lakers to have success, which means that's another team going up against your team. Let it go. You can appreciate Luka as a basketball player. But let it go. Let it go. You can say, I mean, listen, I went to North Carolina. Nothing about Duke excites me. But you know what I can say? Boy, at Grant Hill, he was healthy, special player. Did I cheer for him? Hell no. Appreciated the skill set. It's easy. Simple. Simple. Let it go. Let it go, Mavs fans. Travis Hunter, who is arguably, to me, and to a lot of others, the best prospect in this draft. We all know what he did at Colorado. I'm sitting here watching him right here on the screen. We all know what he did at Colorado, playing both ways, damn near 100% of the time. Not too many players, and we've come to the point now where we say it so casually, so just both ways, 100% of the time. And I don't think people truly and honestly understand just how insane that is. Like it's a wow. And not only to do it both ways, but literally be the best at it. Like if he decided to be 100% all wide receiver, he'd be the number one wide receiver taken in this draft. If he decided to be just all cornerback, he'd be the first cornerback off the board in this draft. And it's not even close. But he says that he's telling teams that he's meeting with during the combine in Indianapolis in their interviews, he's telling teams, I'm playing both ways. I'm playing both ways. We've never seen that before. Because when he says he's playing both ways, he means 100% of the time. He's not saying, oh, I'm playing over here and then I'm moonlighting over there. Or I'll have a package or two over here. He's saying, no, I'm 100% over here and I'm 100% over here. I don't know if that's going to fly in the NFL. Would love to see it. Would love to see it. I do think if it's going to happen, or if the attempt's going to happen, or however they break it up, he has to be 100% cornerback first. I think you draft him to be a cornerback, and then you let him play some wide receiver. It's very difficult to do it the opposite way. Very difficult to say, hey, you're my starting wide receiver, and you're going to moonlight at outside corner. It's tough. It's tough. Or maybe, hey, you're my starting wide receiver, and then you're my nickel. Maybe. But defensively, you kind of need that guy to be there 100% of the time. Offensively, let's make some packages for him. I mean, you see it all the time. You see offensive linemen come in. We've seen Patriots that have Izzo and Vrabel coming in. You've seen different players come in, do wildcat stuff. You know, you've seen it. You've seen it happen. You've seen defensive linemen come in and be fullbacks. There are different packages that you can put in for a guy who's coming from defense over on offense. We've seen, of course, his coach and one of his mentors, Deion Sanders, do it at his very best for the Dallas Cowboys. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. 17 weeks, The physicality is different. The mental aspect is different. You can't take plays off in the pros and not get exposed. Right? Like if you tired and you think you gassed, they'll keep attacking you. Now you may pick them off every now and again, or you may get cooked. They may find ways to get their fresh Justin Jefferson on you after you just ran a 14-play drive a drive before. That's tough. That's tough. But I nothing but love and respect and admiration for Travis Hunter. Go get it, young fella. Go get it. Allow it to be your calling, your destiny, and I'll be, like the rest of us, we'll be tuned in full time. All right, moving right along. Quarterback carousel in the National Football League. Some quarterbacks on the move. Give you my opinion on them. Quarterback number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Come sit next to me, my boy. Get you one of these mics. Get you some sponsorships. You can get as high as you want on Asawasa. If you want to do cocaine, feel free. K2, if you want to shoot heroin, have at it. Come on, sit down, my boy. Come sit down, man. Stop it. Stop. We don't. You're done. You're done. Especially if now you want to go around and you want to kind of call your shots like you were, like, you know, you're not 28, 29-year-old Rodgers anymore. You're 40-plus-year-old Rodgers. You don't call the shots. You ran the Jets into the goddamn ground trying to call the shots. Got folks fired. Got players cut. You got the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, got an F from the NFL Players Association's report card. Aaron, don't tarnish your legacy anymore. You were regarded for a long time as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. And I'm pretty sure if we sat down and we did the judgment of it all, you'd probably fall somewhere in the top 10. Arguably. But the more you keep trying to go out there and embarrass yourself and teams, just come have a seat, man. You were a great guy. I should say great guy. I don't know you. But great quarterback. Cheered for you. I thought that you had a moment in time where you were the baddest dude on the planet. And that's respectable. Stop holding up your Hall of Fame stuff. Let the fire. Listen, the moment you say I'm done, clock starts. In 5 years, you'll stand in Canton and you can have your speech and you can say whatever it is that you want up there on that stage. Vax, non-vax, hookah, non-hookah, whatever. Doesn't make me a difference. I'll watch. I'll celebrate you because I did watch you and you were a spectacle to watch. But I think it's time you come sit down. I think it's time that you come sit down. You're not, like, I don't even think you're good. Like, I don't even want you to be a bridge. I don't even want you to be a bridge quarterback. I just want you to sit down. Go into a cave. Do what you do. Now you don't have to go back to Egypt. Like, it's time. It's time. You got enough money. You have enough accolades. Let's get ready for Canton, my boy. Let's get fitted for the gold jacket. Let's start our clock. Get you one of these. So you get you a nice little setup, about $300. You know what I mean? You got more than enough money. These networks will sign you up. They'll let you put you on TV. You'll be an analyst. You do all this kind of stuff. You hooked up with Pat McAfee. Sit down. Kirk Cousins. If I'm Atlanta, if I can move Kirk Cousins before the draft, because remember, Michael Penix, who has a long history of injuries, cannot forget that. Michael Penix is still on his rookie deal. So when you think about it, this is how I think about it. I think about the going rate for a good quarterback, like for like a really, 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 really good quarterback, is going to be 60 million, 55 to 60 million. And I know what Kirk Cousins is making, and I know what Michael Penix Jr. is making on his rookie deal. And it's about $55 million together. So you have in the two players, in essence, a franchise quarterback, right? So unless you can get Atlanta, you can get something good, like really good for Kirk Cousins from Vegas. They need a quarterback. From Pittsburgh, they need a quarterback. From New York Jets, they need a quarterback. From the New York Giants, they need a quarterback. The Browns, they need a quarterback. Unless you can get something of major significance, I keep Kirk Cousins. I keep him. And I have him right there in case the rookie in year 2 has a sophomore slump. I keep him right there in case he gets hurt. And now I know that I got a guy who's already in my system, and Kurt has his moments. He has his moments when he's really, really, really good. And he has moments where you're like scratching your head, trying to figure out what is going on. And you already budgeted for the money. So I was thinking about Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins should stay put if I'm in Atlanta, unless I can get a nice little package deal for him from somewhere else. And then the last one is Super Bowl winning quarterback Matthew Stafford of the Rams. The Rams have given Matthew Stafford the ability to now to go out and test the market, see what his market is. I have not heard it from Stafford himself or someone credible enough from his organization to say so. But word on the street is that Matthew Stafford is looking to get $50 million. Matthew, if that's the case, you too come have a seat right here, my boy. Take a load off. 50 mil? 50 mil you want? 50 mil right now. You're a $49 million cap hit for the Rams, and this last year on your contract, last 2 years, it's no guaranteed money. So I know you're trying to get some money on your way out. I get it. Jay Holley ain't gonna knock the hustle. I know that you're trying to get some bread, trying to get some more money on the way out. Buy another beach house in LA or something like that. And I'm sorry, not LA, but in California, and move about your business. But 50 mil, 50, and you're on the downside. I don't know about that, bro. 30, we can work 30 out, but 50. But there may be some fool out here that gives it to you. Team desperate enough. The Raiders have always been a team that looks up, and then the Raiders did something crazy again, and they may give you it. They may give you the money that you so rightfully desire. But I don't know if 50 million is on the cards. Another big time NFL player, premier pass rusher says, I'm out. Myles Garrett, defensive end for the Cleveland Browns, who has 2 years left on his contract, $25 million per year, has notified the Cleveland Browns, I want out. I want nothing to do with the organization again. This is a guy who's locally from Dallas, Arlington, on the Arlington Martin. The Browns said, hey, Myles, come on in. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if we can't get you a contract extension, get you some more money because we know that you're underpaid from the other guys that are at your position and for your productivity. Myles has said no to any contract extension in Cleveland. He's told them, no, I don't want to talk about no extension. I don't want your money. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want any of your time. I want to be let go. I want to go somewhere else. Trade me, let me go. Do whatever it is you have to do. I want nothing else to do with Cleveland. Now, here's my fear. My fear isn't that Myles Garrett getting out of Cleveland. My fear is Myles Garrett getting out of Cleveland, ending up in Philly, or ending up in Washington. That's my fear. And the way that Howie Roseman works and have been working, the way that Dan Quinn wants to operate and knows having that premier pass rusher works, and they have a ton of money in Washington to spend this offseason, it's possible. I know that when Stephen Jones says selectively aggressive, it don't mean that aggressive. That ain't the selection that he being aggressive with. He ain't going to get Myles Garrett. I would love it, but that selectively aggressive don't mean that. But Myles said, I will play for a different team. Let it be an AFC team. Let it be an AFC team. Go over there. Go to Pittsburgh. Go to Baltimore. I don't know. They probably won't trade you within the division, but I don't know. Go to Seattle. I know not Seattle. Go to the Raiders. Go somewhere. It's not in the definitely not in the NFC East and not in the NFC at all. I don't want to have to deal with you and the team that's contending. All right, I'm going to end this show with a little bit of Messy Jesse. I love a little spice. I love a little mess. I love a little bit of salaciousness. I don't know which one should I start with. I'll start with the lesser of the two. Little bit of beef amongst some of the insiders. Reported earlier, was it yesterday or today, whatever it was, Jonathan Schwartz and Ian Rappaport. Schultz, excuse me. Which I just found out today, Schultz is the son of, what's his name? Andrew Schultz, who owns Starbucks. His daddy? What's his daddy's name? Andrew Schultz? No, not Andrew Schultz is the comedian dude, right? Whoever the Starbucks dude is, whoever owns Starbucks, that's Jordan Daddy. Which, by the way, it leads me to these conversations. I'm like, why I couldn't be born in something like that? Like, why couldn't I not be born into something like that? Like, I played college football. My teammate was Arthur Smith, who was the head coach of the Falcons, who was the offensive coordinator of the Steelers. That Arthur Smith, who daddy was the founder or one of the founders of FedEx, like that FedEx. And I remember I used to ask Arthur during those hot, sweltering, humid, baking, back-breaking training camp practices in the good state of North Carolina, in the good city of Chapel Hill, why are you doing this? But that's neither here nor there. Jordan put out a tweet the other day, which was in regards to Matthew Stafford, who's a quarterback who's been given permission by the Rams to go out there and kind of test and see what his market is. Well, Jordan put out a tweet and said that Matthew Stafford is being hosted by Tom Brady and at a famous ski resort or a nice luxury ski resort, and they're spending some time together. Which, by the way, if they just so happen to be there, that's one thing. But to have Tom Brady, who is a minority owner of the Raiders, hosting him, I'm pretty sure that's tampering. So I don't know if someone sent Ian Rappaport back out to the streets to kind of clarify this, and it was more so of, and Ian Rappaport tweeted out, they have Tom Brady is not hosting Matthew Stafford, but they just so happen to be at the same ski resort at the same time. Which, if that's the case, then everything's copacetic. But Jordan said, au contraire, mon ami. And he tells Ian Rappaport, if you believe that they just so happen to be at the same place at the same time, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. Well, Ian Rappaport didn't take kindly to that, and they both was kind of subtweeting each other back and forth in these Twitter streets. But the instigating gods wanted a little bit of spiciness. So they're both in Indianapolis for the combine, and Ian Rappaport is down at the Starbucks getting his morning Joe. Who walks in? Jordan Schultz. Jordan walks over to Ian Rappaport and said, hey, I don't know if he said broski, but I'm going to say broski. He said, hey, broski, we need to have a talk. And Ian Rappaport said, we ain't got nothing to talk about. And Jordan Soul said, if we ain't got nothing to talk about, then we got an effing problem. By that time, Ian Rappaport has called over security to kind of, break the situation up. Nothing is escalated from there. Of course, the NFL will investigate it. Neither one of these guys want their credentials snatched from them. But I love me a good messy Jesse Twitter kerfluffle. I do. I love a little messy Jesse Twitter kerfluffle. But Ian Rappaport, you can't have those Twitter fingers. You can't have that mouth on Twitter and then have 911 fingers, my boy. Jordan said he got a problem with you if y'all don't want to talk. You should have snuffed them in the Starbucks. Then they got into the whole Nepo thing, and because Schwartz's daddy is Starbucks and he buys his sources and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, keep an eye on that. Those two guys at the combine and their messiness going on. But the greatest messy of the week comes from Mr. Ice Up, son. Comes from, if you see this face, that means I scored. Steve Smith Sr. Steve Smith Sr. has been outed on social media for sleeping. Now, I want to clarify, and I want to put out there in the universe, I do not condone the behaviors of Steve Smith or any other people who act like Steve Smith. Don't condone these behaviors. But I do appreciate the messiness. Steve Smith Sr. has been outed by the husband of one of the band members in the Ravens Flock band that he was sleeping with. This husband brought these messages that he found in his wife's phone between her and one Steve Smith Sr. He brought them to the one place he should have not brought them to. Sidebar. I don't know what goes through y'all mind, but y'all come on Twitter and y'all tell y'all personal business and y'all tell these L's that y'all are receiving to these random strangers. Y'all tell stuff to people that I would try to hide from God. Ain't no way in hell. If my wife cheated on me with an NFL, it could be a plumber. Don't matter. I'm not bringing that to social media. I'm taking that L in silence. I'm taking that L by myself. You think I'm bringing, and you ain't getting no sympathy on Twitter? And so this husband, the lady's name is Miss Martinez. This husband begins to put the tweets out of the messages. And there were messages that she was saying to Steve Smith, like, you were so deep that you were moving. I thought you was going to rearrange my UDI, my birth control on the inside. Sir, why would you put that out there that man was doing that to your old lady? You can't do that. And he called Steve Smith, and all Steve Smith had to say was, I'm sorry. But for that, man, sometimes you gotta keep your private, bro. Don't bring that to Twitter. And then you were like adding like Yeti coolers and all the sponsors that ain't gonna. He didn't commit a crime. He didn't commit a crime. Like he didn't commit a crime. He didn't rob you with a gun to your head. It wasn't an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Your wife gave him the buns. Not condoning it at all. But Steve ain't the guy that you should be having a problem with. Who you should be having a problem with is your old lady. And also, you should also look yourself in the mirror, my guy. Because what are you doing, or not, that she felt the need to go get her UID or UDI rearranged by Mr. Smith Sr.? Are you not keeping her satisfied enough at the crib? You letting work get involved. You working too hard. Are you working too hard and you not giving her enough attention? I don't know. But boy, that messy. But don't come to, this word to the wise. If you're watching this, if you see this face, it means I did not score a touchdown. But if you see this face, this is my PSA to you guys, especially to you men, but women too, but specifically to you men. You're not going to get sympathy on Twitter. Don't bring your problems to Twitter. Don't bring your L's to Twitter. Take your L's in silence. See, that's where I come from, that cloth. Where you just lose in silence. You lose to the peace and the confines of your own home. You don't bring that stuff to Twitter. Some of y'all, you gotta let it go. You're not gonna get sympathy on Twitter, so don't even try. All right, man, that's it for your boy Jay Holley. Make sure that you guys are giving the attention that you need to your old ladies, because there's a C. Smith Sr. at the office that may rearrange your lady's UDI, whatever that thing is called on the inside that she was talking about. But remember, let what you believe about you be greater than what they say about you, even if I say it. UTA, your days are numbered. You crop me out of that damn photo. I'm telling you, your days are numbered. You cropped your boy out the photo, man. But I believe that I worth being in the photo despite what you may think, UTA, and cropping me out. Y'all have a good one, man. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, Spotify, and Apple, where you can get the podcast form. Fanatics View on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Unfiltered with Jesse Holley on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Mr. Fourth Along on Twitter. Holla at your boy. Leave the comments. Leave a 5-star review. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And that's what we do, man. Remember, eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.